Alright. Starting a little early tonight. Back on the road with our Hobbit Burglar. Our River Hobbit Burglar. Going through this new River Hobbit starting area. World of Warcraft's War Within went live today. I just hit level 78. I was playing before this off air. And I finished the storylines for the zones. Now I got to get to level 80 so that I can actually finish the campaign. It's been really, really good. But that just went live. Or it's going live in like 30 minutes. I think that's what it is. It's going live in like 30 minutes. Something like that. For the public. Alright. We have a whole bunch of quests. We should probably do these. WoW, yeah, but WoW does have really good music. Like, the new expansion music has been really, really good. But this game has great music. You cannot deny that. Where are we going? We had so many quests around here. I think for now, I'm just gonna do the prologue quest. Collect choice cuts of meat from beasts. Do any of these beasts count? Come here, bunny. Probably not. Probably don't count from the bunnies. Yeah, it's probably gonna be these. Yep. God, I don't know about these giant boars. They're gonna kick my butt. Did I ding? I dinged. Oh, is that like a stun? Daze the enemy briefly. How long? 30-second daze. One more. Of course I pulled two. What's up, Metro? Alright, that's all the cuts of meat. Man, I need to scale the UI. This is so ridiculously tiny from where I'm sitting. My phone's beeping at me all of a sudden. Somebody needs me! Bring the meats to the butcher's shop. Hang on, before we do this, let's do some UI adjustments. Cause I'm blind. I thought I had increased this all the other day. I totally had. You know what? I bet when I reset my monitor to 4K resolution to play World of Warcraft, and then I reset it back to 1920 1080, I wonder if it reset all my stuff here. That's better for my tired old eyes. I think I was at 1.2 before. We could go 1.3. I don't care about the text. I don't play it, Brock. Brock over on YouTube, for those of you who are watching the multi-stream and are over on Twitch right now, Brock had asked, what are my thoughts on the Warden class? I played it as a main through Moria and Isengard, or Moria into Mirkwood. I didn't get to Isengard with that character, but I did Moria into Lothlorien into Mirkwood with when it was going live. So that's years and years and years ago, like probably what, 13, 14 years ago was when I had a Warden. I would not play one right now because my hands, I don't want to sit here and mash buttons for combos. So I actually dislike playing mouse and keyboard, which is why almost everything I play these days is on a controller, whether it's that or the PS5. This is one of the only games I'll play mouse and keyboard on, and I only play it like once a week, so it's not that big of a deal. It's a lot of button mashing, and you got to learn a lot of combos, but it can do all things. It can be a healer, it can be a tank, it can be a DPS. You can do lots of different things. It's a great character to have as a main tank for a group. It's also a great character to have as like a DPS backup tank in a group, assuming you group up. You might not group up at all, in which case go DPS spec for your leveling, because it's awesome. I think we'll go evade. Yeah, we'll max my evade here. Ralph says, I'm finishing The Hobbit and going into Lord of the Rings soon. Been enjoying the game a lot. Now I want to stop and read more before I continue. Have you never read the books, Ralph? What's up, Gregory? Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Gonna do Outlaws in the meantime, says Ralph. Dude, I'm starting Outlaws tomorrow. It's your first time? Ooh, yeah. Yeah. That's a fun adventure. You will get a lot more out of this game after you've read the books, for sure. Because this game follows the books. It doesn't follow the films. So Peter Jackson's films are amazing. They're right up there with Star Wars for me, like my favorite movies of all time. But they do take some creative liberties with the books. And those things are ignored in this game because they follow the book version of events in this game. So there's so much book Easter egg content in this game. Like, so you just finished reading The Hobbits, right? Hang on, you said that you finished reading The Hobbit, I think. You're finishing The Hobbit. Well, if you're finishing, I'm assuming you're already past the part where, like, the stone trolls that they meet at the very beginning of The Hobbit, and they turn the trolls to stone. It's like a famous scene from The Hobbit, and it's in the films. You can go find those trolls in-game. They're turned to stone. I've told people this before, like, when I did the LOTRO tourism series, like, everything you read in the books, you can go see in this game. Every single corner, every nook and cranny of what's in the Lord of the Rings books, you get to go see in this game. It's a big game. So yeah, finish the books. For sure. This isn't going anywhere, so you can finish the books and come back and be like, oh, I get what this is now. Okay, there'll be things that mean more to you. I don't need that at all. The movies are close, but they do take some creative liberties.
Ah, these cuts are choice indeed.
Well done. I'll get to salting and preserving them right away. Metal Deer is calling for me from outside. I think that's one of the benefits. My wife has never read the books, so it's a Christmas tradition. We watch the extended editions every single Christmas season. And it's if I don't bring it up, she brings it up. Like last year, I remember we were just so busy with things, I just kind of forgot. And then she was like, "Hey, are we gonna watch Lord of the Rings this year?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, we're gonna watch Lord of the Rings this year." So we do tend to watch all 6 of the films around Christmas time. But usually, what's most important is the Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King. That's the Christmas trilogy. The Hobbit you can watch anytime. Gregory says, might get back into playing LOTRO. Enjoy if you do. Coltrane says, woohoo, caught you live over on Twitch. Well, it's a Christmas film. Yeah. It's a Christmas film. It's all about the journey they take around Christmas time. So, Metro says, I've never read them either. That's why I purchased them, because the game seems to be so good and I want to understand it. The game does a really good job of... you don't actually need to know the books. The game does a really good job of just walking you through Middle-earth. But it's the Easter eggs. It's the stuff you get when you're playing the game, and all of a sudden you see a location, and you're like, oh, that's that place from the book. Like, being able to go to the Green Dragon Inn in Bywater is really, really cool. And then there's other stuff, like they've got I forget what it's called in the game. The pub in real life is the Eagle and the Child, I believe. The Bird and the Bastard. But it's the tavern in Oxford where J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis would go meet with the other Inkling authors and trade stories and stuff. And they have that tavern in Delving in the Shire. So the team has put a lot of love into taking not only things that were part of the books, but also little snippets of life from Tolkien and putting them into the game. And it's a good game to play. What's up, Poteen? Bookstores are great. I used to spend a lot more time in bookstores. I actually got Chris. I don't think it's in one of these containers since we moved. I got her a slipcase cover. They were just paperback, but it came with a big map. It's all in Spanish, so she's got the Spanish translation. She's read parts of The Hobbit, but she started reading right before we moved. And then it's been chaos for 2.5 years. Like, neither one of us has had time. My house used to be full of books, Metro, so I appreciate that. I had 1,200 books in my collection when I was 27. Basically started collecting when I was about 13, 14. And I just going on eBay, going to used bookstores, you go in and you buy 25 books for $15, you know, and you just load up on paperback trilogies and series you've never heard of from authors that have, you know, never really made it big, but they wrote a couple of books. And then when I started traveling full time, you can't take books with you like that. So that collection, most of it got sold. I sold about 800 books, gave 200 to the local library, and kept about 200, which are in storage at my sister's place. I kept like all my Rogers Lasney stuff, which was hard to get a hold of. I have a Michael Whelan cover series of John Carter of Mars, which was in mint condition, which cost me a pretty penny, but it was totally worth it. I've got all my first edition Wheel of Time hardcovers that I pre-ordered at like Walden Books, or I think it was called Walden Books, in the mall like years and years and years ago. Was Battlefield Earth part of my collection? No, but I've read it. And then I got this about 3 years ago. I got the Kindle Paperwhite about 3 years ago, and I really love this thing. So I have been reading. I don't read nearly as much as I used to because video games take that space for me, and also TV shows. There's just so much good television on, and I can share that with Chris. So we watch things together. So I don't read as much as I used to. But I definitely, when you start, anytime I know that I'm getting into a writing project, I'll pick a book series that is the style I want to go with, or something that I think will inspire me to work on that project, and I'll go read that. Even if it's a reread, it's a great way to get into the headspace. So like right now I'm on Children of Dune, which honestly I started when the power was off like 3 weeks ago, and I never kind of dove back in. I haven't read in about 3 weeks. But I've been reading slowly through the Dune trilogy. But I've got like the Dragonlance series on here. I've got the Wheel of Time series on here. I've got... Hang on, I'm scrolling down. I've got the Amber series here from Roger Zelazny. I've got the Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn. Leviathan Wakes, which is the first... I believe that's the first one. I haven't read it yet. I think that's the first one in the Expanse series. Then I've got Robert Jordan's Conan series on here. I've got the... Ooh, I forgot. I've got the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. And then the Paradise War series by Stephen R. Lawhead is on here. And then the first Spanish book I did, Gracias a Dios, Soy Ateo. There is no way to get signed copies at the moment, Metro. Of my books, no. But I appreciate that. There are signed copies of Echoes of the Past out there somewhere. Because I did a book signing for those books, because that was the collector's editions for our MMORPG. And I know some people have, once the company rebranded, I know some people sold their books because it was no longer associated with the game. So there are some signed copies of those out there somewhere, but nothing signed of the current project. Hang on, I'm scrolling through my Kindle now that I opened it, which I shouldn't have done. But I like the Kindle, but there is nothing better than a paperback or a hardback in your hand. I like to read books. And if you've been anybody who's been around my channel for a while, because I have written for a long time. I was a writer for many years. I made a living as a writer since 2008 was when I first got published, and then I wrote full-time essentially for a decade, and then even after that continued to write for projects. No, that's the only book I've done in Spanish, Belluck. And that one was, I did it with a friend and his girlfriend at the time. So they had this is an interesting story. Years ago, I used to do public speaking in the travel industry because of social media and marketing and my expertise in those areas. And I was doing a public speaking circuit in the Riviera Maya, Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum, and I was speaking to a lot of hotel chains. We were doing different hotels, and I got invited to come teach a workshop at a co-working space in Playa del Carmen over 3 weekends. And there was probably 30 businesses that attended, and one of the couples that was there were like, hey, can we take you out to lunch and do a consult? And I'm like, sure. You know, normally I wouldn't do a consult over lunch, but they had already paid for the course, so it was like, yeah, cool. And they were there, and they told me what their business was, and I was like, don't pay me. I appreciate you guys want to pay me. I actually want to work on this. Would you be okay with me coming in as like a 30% partner, and we just split things down the table? And they had a Facebook page. He had basically had this blog and website and Facebook page. For anybody out there who's religious, I'm not trying to be offensive when I say this, but he had a a website dedicated to science, but also kind of making fun of all the different. It was basically science versus religion, and offensive to some people, but you know, it's there was a lot of like South Park style jokes that would get told, and you know, it was a fun project to be a part of. And I think at the time they had like 50,000 followers on Facebook, and this is when Facebook was big, and I was making good money on Facebook with the advertising system selling my books and stuff. And so I came in and grew that Facebook page by like 100,000 followers in about a year with no advertising dollars spent at all. I just started making memes, and I had a tablet that I used to draw on, and I created a stick figure comic book series. So it makes more sense in Spanish, but it was called Sangre y Ciencia, blood or Sangre o Ciencia, blood or science. And so I would make jokes and memes and draw stick figure comics about religion versus science and do it in a meme style with stick figures. And that page blew up to like 35,000 followers, and ended up, we wrote a book for that, and then we created another book, which was Gracias Dios Soy Ateo, and I wrote chapters in that book, but my friend was the one who did all the translations. We co-wrote it, and his girlfriend did all the artwork for it. And then I did the story of Genesis in stick figure form for that brand. I did a whole, like, I literally did the whole book of Genesis in stick figure artwork, like as like a comic book, or a picture book, and that was all done. That was over the course of like a year plus, like maybe 14, 15 months. That's a long time ago. That'd be like 2013, 14, somewhere in that ballpark. It was a fun project. Gave a couple presentations while I did a keynote down there for a big hotel organization one time in Spanish, and that was terrifying. I wouldn't have a problem with it now, but my Spanish was not that good 12 years ago. It was okay, but it wasn't like doing a presentation in Spanish that was terrifying, really terrifying.
I should have warned you that the folk in Swan Fleet will often...
So no, I don't have any books in Spanish. That's the only one I've ever done, and it was translated by someone else. Check in on the situation with the other two villages. Alright, well, we're going to stick on the main quest tonight. We're going to go as far as I can until this starts to like get orange to me, and then we'll back up and do side quests as needed. We're going the wrong way, aren't we? God, there's even more quests. More quests! Look at this little bridge. This is awesome. This place is beautiful. No, I don't have any max characters. I have like 50 characters of all different level types. I think my highest is like 99 or 103 or something like that. The epic quests are the main story, correct? I took the long way, didn't I? Well, either way, the road leads over there, so we'll be fine. You were just in Final Carmen? While you were in Cozumel? Nice. What's up, Fudgy? You know, I wonder if that Facebook page is still there. I'm gonna have to go look tonight. Because they ended up splitting up, and the project just went to the wind at that point. But I ended up working with him on a couple other projects. My buddy Rodrigo ended up, he was a photographer too, so we went and worked in, we worked for TripAdvisor for like a summer. Went to all over the Riviera Maya. They sent us to Puerto Vallarta. We did like 120 resorts, I think. We were doing photography and reviews. And they sent us all around, paid, it was a good gig, man. It was paid well, they paid per diem, they paid gas mileage, they paid flights, they paid for rental cars, they paid for everything. That was a good gig for about 8 months, something like that. I am doing good, NFO Guides. Thank you for asking.
Hello there.
The journey is what's so good? Yeah. And there's no point in rushing this game either. Your Hobbit Burglar's named Frijoles Bella. I'm reading your comment, C90. And then I'm formulating a reply. NFO Guides, did I play Star Wars Outlaws? Nope, starts tomorrow. We'll be starting bright and early, everybody. Normally I start at like 11 a.m. Central for the multi-streams during the day, but I think tomorrow we're going to start earlier. Depending on how the morning goes, I need to go for a run tomorrow morning. I have not gone for a run the past couple of days, and my leg is being angry at me, so I need to go stretch it out. So if I go run tomorrow morning, I'll probably start like around 8 a.m. Central, 7 or 8-ish. If I don't go for a run, I'll start much earlier, like 6 a.m. or something. But I really need to go for a run tomorrow, so. And that'll probably take me about, if Joe, California and I were talking about length today, it's supposed to be around 30-40 hours for like a full playthrough. So I'm going to be doing a full playthrough. So I'm expecting to, I'll probably go hard and heavy the next 2 days since I have early access. I think it's 3 days early access, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll play pretty hard to take advantage of, hopefully, the boost of traffic. And then once the masses start playing it and everybody goes and starts playing their own games, I will probably back down to like 3 hours a day of streams. So it's probably going to take me about 2 weeks to get through Star Wars Outlaws. We're going to stream every day. That's going to be the main game from 11 a.m. on YouTube and Twitch. And then we're going to roll right into Space Marine 2 after that. And then after Space Marine 2, we're going into Shattered Space DLC for Starfield. So probably like the 20th or something, we'll be moving over to Starfield. Back over to my second playthrough. We'll start driving around our new Land Rover, maybe work on some outpost building, and then get into the DLC. Alright, so CC96 said, first time watcher, came across your videos on YouTube as I'm new to LOTRO and trying to get into it, but I'm a bit overwhelmed with everything the game has to offer due to its large lifespan, huge lifespan, and large amount of content. Should I prioritize a legendary server over a non-legendary server as a first-time player because of this? I plan on doing most of what I can solo other than what is necessary for group activities along the way. Any advice would be appreciated. Let me timestamp this because we're going to give this a very in-depth response. And this will get clipped out on YouTube as its own thing. So, that's going to be a multi-part question. Well, I'm still doing the No Man's Sky streams, NFO. Sunday mornings, 5 a.m. Central. We just did one yesterday. So never fear, No Man's Sky for the moment. We still had like 85 people tune in on Sunday. So as long as if I'm getting 70, 80 people watching those No Man's Sky streams, I will definitely continue to do them on Sunday mornings. But I'm doing those really early, 5 a.m. Central. All right, so C96. Here, let me maybe go about this from the back of your question first. You plan on mostly doing solo content other than what is necessary for group activities along the way. That's perfect. Nothing in this game requires you to have a group in terms of story. The main story of the game, which is laid out as these things, get rid of the zone quests. They're called prologue or chapter quests. They're the epic book quests of the game. It's the main story. 100% of that storyline can be completed solo. It used to require a group, and you can still do some of those quests with a group if you choose to do so, but if you don't want to do so, or if you don't have a group, they give you a buff to make you super powerful to go through those quest lines, or they will give you a little stone that you can click on, which gives you the buff, which makes you super powerful so that you can go through these old zones that were from like the launch of the game. So 100% of that can be done solo. All of the zone quests, the world quests, which what they call landscape quests, which is outside of dungeons, all of this is 100% soloable all the way through the game. You don't need a group for anything. The only thing you need a group for is if you decide you want to raid, or if you decide you want to do instances and dungeons. Those are the only activities, skirmishes, dungeons, instances. Those are the only activities that require a group. Skirmishes you could do on your own. You get a companion that you level up. But there are group versions of those where 2 or 3 of you can go in, or even 6 of you can go in and do skirmishes. But there's also the dungeons and instances. So good that you want to do solo, because there is nothing that's group required. So the second part of that would be, should you prioritize a legendary server over a non-legendary server as a first-time player? And I'm going to say that is entirely a budgetary issue. If you have $15 to spend per month, or if you want to buy, what I usually do is I usually buy a block of 3 months, which reduces that cost down. I spend maybe 30 bucks. However, if you've just bought like the game, and that may be a little too high of a hill to climb. So if money's no option, I would highly recommend subscribing and playing on the legendary server, one of the legendary servers. A couple of reasons for that. One is obviously the performance on the 64-bit servers it's noticeably different than it is on the free servers. The free servers are great. I have characters on many of the free servers, and I play them a lot. But there is a noticeable difference now that they moved to this new server tech of like server lag, and this has been as smooth as silk. Whereas on the main servers, the free servers, you will occasionally notice you'll be running along and then there will be like a hiccup, and your character will like pause for a second and then you'll start to go again. Things like that will happen, and it's not game breaking, but it does get annoying after you've seen it happen 10 or 12 times over the course of a 3-hour session. It's like, I have a really nice computer, this sucks. So if money is no object and you can spend the monthly subscription, I highly recommend the legendary server, if only for that reason. But the other nice thing about the legendary servers is everyone is low level. So if you actually want to run into other players, then it's better to do it on a legendary server, because these just launched recently, like within the past month or so, which means there's still a lot of low level people because the max is only 50. So on the live servers, the max is like 140 or 130 or something. It's like 17 years of expansions big, and they've never done a level crunch. So there's all of that to consider, because there's all the population is going to be very end heavy on the live servers because they've already done it and they've all got max level characters. Whereas here it's a lot of people running alts. There's quite a few people who are playing for the first time. So if you wanted to group up with other people, it would be easier to group up with people on the legendary server because of the fact that there's more people in your level range who are doing things at like the Barrow Downs or Fornost, like the level 15 to 30 dungeons, or even the 40 plus dungeons. So if you want to do group content, it's easier to do it on the legendary server because of the low level population. I would also say that it would help with the problem of your first section of that comment, which was you're feeling overwhelmed with everything the game has to offer due to its lifespan and large amount of content. If you're starting on a legendary server, that content is going to be capped because you only have the base game, which is literally just, if I open up the map, it's essentially everything from the Misty Mountains over there. It's this map. This is what you get in the base game for the most part. There is some stuff in here that's but this is what you'll be playing in the base game, is all of this, because you don't get to Moria until the first expansion. The first expansion is months away. I don't really know what the schedule is. If anybody has that information on YouTube or Twitch, if you could drop that in the chat, and we can read it off. The map is pretty big. There's a lot to do, but that 1 to 50 storyline is contained within this map. So if you're looking at being overwhelmed by the story and too much to do, a legendary server will help you with that because it's only going to have this available. There's like 17 years of like if you zoom out on the map, like that's Eriador we were just looking at. There's also Rohan, Gondor, Ravanian, Mordor, Harad Wraith. There's a whole ton of other stuff that has come out over the past 17 years. If you're just playing the base game, you're doing the 1 to 50 stuff that the game launched with. So it's a little less overwhelming because you have a single storyline to work on, and there's only a handful of zones in comparison to having the entire map of Middle-earth at your fingertips, which is what you will have in the live servers. So, yes, Jigsaw, there's a lot of zones. It's a lot of content. So, hopefully that answers your question. If you're strapped and budget is an issue, just go free to play. And my suggestion at that point would be stick to the main storyline. If you stick to this storyline right here, the prologue and book quests, these will lead you to quest hubs. So just what I would suggest doing if you end up going free to play is ignore all of this stuff, ignore the zone quests, and only do the book quests until you get to the point where the book quests become too hard, like orange or red. Then take a look around you and say, where's the nearest town? And you can find quests to level up with in that town, or look at a zone and say, maybe I want to do the whole zone. There are some zones I would highly recommend doing that with. As an example, the North Downs is an incredible questing zone for, like, I want to say it starts in the early 20s and goes to the late 30s. I don't remember exactly the level range, but I love the North Downs. It gives you a lot of territory to play with. There's also like the Trollshaws, which is what you'll go to before Rivendell. It's so good. It's like one of my favorite zones in the game. And everything in Rohan is really cool. So that would be my suggestion if you're budgetarily constrained. To avoid feeling overwhelmed on a free-to-play server, just stick to that base quest. And it will lead you to zones, and then you can just do zone quests when you're in the zones where those book quests are taking place. And that will keep you focused. Because that'll just guide you through the main quest, and you don't have to worry about any other players. You can play that 100% solo. And there's a lot, and you'll be interacting with all the main characters from the books. So you'll meet Aragorn and Gandalf and Merry and Pippin. You'll meet the entire Fellowship. You'll go to Rivendell. You'll meet Elrond. You'll meet Elrond's sons. You're going to meet the Dunedain. You're going to travel with the Dunedain. You're going to quest with the Dunedain. You're going to wind up and go into Mirkwood. You're going to meet Galadriel. You're going to go to Moria and work with the dwarves. You're going to end up... Isengard drives me nuts with how much running around you have to do within the tower, but it's really cool because you meet Wormtongue and you have to do stuff with him and Saruman. And then getting into Rohan and seeing Theoden meeting the Ents for the first time, and it's the dialogue from the books, and you get goosebumps down your arms, and it's like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like, you'll get all of that just following the main storyline. So, that's the easiest way to stay focused, is just follow the main storyline. And rant off, because I know there was a bunch of other, not rant, but, there's a bunch of other comments I'll try to get to here, but hopefully that answers your question. Because there's lots to do in LOTRO. And this is my plug. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams on YouTube and Twitch. The music's pretty good in this new area, guys, for the River Hobbits. Alright. Let me read through here. Firewater says, haven't played LOTRO in a long time. Bought a lifetime subscription. Nice. They're worth it. I was traveling full time, so I didn't have a chance to get the lifetime when it came out. Wally West over on Twitch says, I'm a 14-year vet of LOTRO. I kind of agree money is not being a problem. It would be a really nice change of pace to have a fresh start on content with re-releases on the Legendary servers. Yeah, if you do the deeds, you can get it all for free for sure. Somebody had another question earlier. I'm going to scroll up. CC Felton, I saw this question. I wanted to respond to this. How do I move around in the streaming space not being influenced by reviews? That's that's a good one. I think it's just mental fortitude. I generally don't get influenced by other people. Here's what I thrive on: excitement for video games and television shows and books. If anybody who's been around my channel will tell you, I will almost daily rant about how much I hate rage bait. Like, I'm here to play games and have fun. I'm here to watch TV and have fun. I want to watch shows and have fun. I want to read books and have fun. I have used fantasy and science fiction as an escape for years, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I like to escape to fantasy world. It's where I draw the inspiration for the games I've developed, for the books I've written. I love immersing myself in fantastical worlds, whether it's on the big screen, the small screen, on the console, on the PC, in a page of a book. I don't care. That's what I thrive on, is imagination. And I refuse to let some whiny little bitch who's upset about the game, it's not 60 frames, I'm not going to play it. Like, as soon as Avowed, as an example yesterday, Avowed announced that they were doing 30 frames on the Series X, and immediately the frame rate idiots out there started ranting about, it's unacceptable that you launch a 30 frames per second game. I'm immediately downvoting your game, and I'm going to give it a shitty review because you don't know how to optimize. That stuff for me, I just tune it out. Like, it's not even a part of my realm, my reality. So I use this quote a lot. You can't take the sky from me. It's a quote from one of my favorite sci-fi TV shows of all time, from the theme song. I genuinely feel that way about pretty much everything. All the franchises I follow. You can't take this guy from me. If you want to be a negative Nancy and rant about how you hate this, that, or the other, fine. But I don't participate in that world. So that makes it easy for me to just ignore it. I do pay attention to the good reviews. There's nothing wrong with, Morticimal, I think, does it. So does Slandered Gaming. Wolfheart does it, I think. Life is Peon, is that another guy? I think there are some content creators I follow who will, when they review something, they'll talk about the good things first, and then they'll come in with the negative stuff at the end. That's totally fair. Pros, cons, ops, awesome. Those kind of reviews I'll pay attention to. But the ones that like put a clickbaity title and like, this is ruined, or they have some clickbaity thumbnail or something that's all about how the game sucks before it's even out. It's not my realm. It's not my reality. So it's easy for me to just ignore that. I think that I talk a lot about this too, but like, if you don't smother your inner child, if your inner child is still alive and well, then you will find enjoyment in everything you do. Whether it's playing video games, reading books, watching TVs. But if you only focus on the things that you hate, yes, you make more money doing rage bait content on the internet. But you are who you surround yourself with. Like, if you make that kind of content and you surround yourself with that kind of community, you are that cesspool. And I don't want to be a cesspool. I don't want to be in the cesspool. I don't want to have my fingers or toes dirty. I don't want to have that skank on me. Get that skanky stank away from me. No. Shoo. It sucks. There are some content creators who I've genuinely liked over the years who have begun to swing way too far in the direction of just pure rage bait, and it's very frustrating because it's like, I don't want to hear about all the reasons you hate things. I want to hear about what you like about the game. So, by the way, everybody, I would like to take a moment if I can get out of the environment here. So this is new world building. Obviously, this is an older engine, We're going to go into first person so you can appreciate this. I think I can turn my UI off. So this is obviously an older engine that they work with. But look at how well they've made this, even considering the age of the engine. This is the new River Hobbit stuff that came about, I think, with Umbral, which was late last year. So yes, like look, that's a very blocky wall. That's definitely a 15-year-old MMORPG cliff face. However, you know, they've done a great job with things. Like you go in here on the fences. Look at the Hobbit doors. Like that one's red. Is this one the same color? Yeah, these are all kind of maybe the same on these ones. But like all the Hobbits have different outfits. He's smoking a pipe. You know, there's barrels outside. Like, the world builders on this team deserve, you know, all the praise for doing what they can with an older engine. Derval Krintak smiles at you. He's certain to have news for you. Oh, I should turn my UI back on.
Goblins and Uruks? Oh, you must be mistaken.
I just wish they had the budget for full voice acting, because they tease me with, like, a couple sentences, and then... I don't mind reading the voices, but when I've been streaming all day, it shreds my voice to also do voices on top of that, so... Not tonight, guys, since we already did a stream earlier today. Alright. We're not like the Stoors of Lintrep, but you didn't hear that from me. Alright, we need to find a helpful villager in Lintrep to tell me of recent events in the Stoor Vales, which is just down the road a little bit more. Did I get a quest starter? Oh, I did get mail. I already have a horse, Eogar, but thank you. I already have my mounts too, so I'm good. Thank you for the reminder, but I'm good. I have not, Fudgy. Did you send me something? I haven't. If you sent me something last week, probably. If you sent me something this week, I can't see everything that comes through my Twitch because I'm getting bombarded with stuff. Oh! Yes, but I only listened to a portion of it. I need to listen to the whole thing. Now you're making me feel guilty because I forgot to listen to it. I feel bad. I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Ah. Yes, this is the problem with being busy. I also got stuck this week because then as of yesterday, it's in yesterday's video that went up on the homestead. One of our baby chicks got stepped on by one of the big roosters, and it either broke his pelvis or it broke his leg. And I'm trying to nurse him, and he can eat. He's eating and drinking, but he's not able to move, and I don't. This is the thing that sucks about animal husbandry, is like, so this has been distracting me today and since last night, and it's one of those things that takes me away sometimes and I forget. Okay, please send it, Fudgy, and I promise I will get to it. So I've been a little stressed about that today, and it's like so many things have fallen behind, and Chris was making me feel a little bad today, because it's like I don't know what to do at this point, because when an animal is in suffering and you are in this position, sometimes the best thing to do is to do the thing that no one wants to do. And it's never a good thing to do, but there is no... I'm going to give him a few days, but if he's not up and moving around within a few days, I'm going to have to make a hard call. Because you can't... There's no life for that creature, unfortunately. It sucks so bad. Sucks. It really, really sucks. We're very upset with all the big roosters, but he got caught in a rush for food and got stomped on by a 15-pound bird. And well, there are a couple vets in our town, but there's nothing a vet can do for a chicken with a broken pelvis and stuff. There's no Like the life of a chicken is scritch, scratch. They need their legs, and if it's kind of like if you've never been around like horses, if they ever break a femur or they break their shin, they're done. Like they can't walk right after that. There are certain things for certain animals that the prognosis is not anything pleasant. It's a life of agonizing pain and inability to move around. So here's a good example. My brother and my sister-in-law. This may be depressing. I'm sorry, guys, but it's reality. If you're going to be a farmer, it's like great to look at cute pictures of animals, but there's another side to being an animal owner and animal husbandry when you're raising animals. So they have a sheep that got frostbite, unfortunately, and he lost both of his back legs from the knees down. So he hobbles around on his two front legs, and you will see people who will make a cart for him, and they'll give him a little wheelchair, and they'll take the time and spend $15,000 in getting all that stuff set up, and they'll treat it as a pet, and I bless those people if they are in a position to do that. However, when you own a cattle ranch where you have several hundred head of cattle, and you have lots of sheep and lots of goats, and you have dogs and cats and geese, ducks, and all these other things, like that animal is never going to have the quality of life it deserves, nor can you necessarily give it the attention it needs to be able to live in a wheelchair and have that fantasy that a lot of people will portray on social media. It's great when you only have one animal and everything else. It's like when you have 50 animals, there's a budgetary cost associated with that as well. It's never fun to make those kind of decisions. The closest emergency vet is 3 hours away, yes. But there are a couple of small animal vets in our town. Put 20 hours at LOTRO over the weekend, say Kibash, because of you had a blast with River Hobbit Burglar. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, it sucks, Fudgy. Injured deer, injured anything. It's never fun. Goblin Courier says, caught you live over on Twitch. Returning player from 07 giving the legendary EU server a go. Nice. Yeah, unfortunately, none of the vets here have like an x-ray or anything, so we would have to take him to the big city to get that even looked at. Alright. Where are we going now? Down the road. I got sidetracked. Oh, I guess this dead-ended. It's not a road. This looked like the road. Okay, where is the road? Maybe I have to go up out of town. And the music is great in this little zone. Check out this view out over the river. Oh, I can't quite see it from here. Let's see if I can get over it from behind here. If we can peek out without falling off. Ah, it's way off in the distance, but you can see how the river, the canyon opens up right here. The canyon opens up and you can see the river. This is one of the things that a lot of people don't give LOTRO enough praise for, is it's just like Lord of the Rings Online. Or, excuse me, Lord of the Rings Online is... It's just like World of Warcraft. It is an open, seamless game. There are no zones. There are dungeons, but if you can see something in the distance, you can go there. The River Hobbit's cool, but I would say make a regular Hobbit first to go do the Shire, because go to the Shire and then go to the Yonder Shire. So the Yonder Shire was a new area they added 2 years ago for the anniversary, 15th year anniversary. It's right up in here. It's called the Yonder Shire. So when you start the Shire is like level 1 to 20. Well, the Yonder Shire is like 20 to 30. and you get there from Needle Hole. You have to walk up there, but go up here and do the Yondershire. That place is freaking awesome. It has great quests. It's got a bunch of pubs and taverns in it. It's beautifully designed. And then do a River Hobbit after that. Because that's way it's really cool. That's like a level 1 to level 30 journey. I have discovered Lintrev.
A lovely day, isn't it?
God, the music's very, the accordion. Alright. Neris Terfith nods a greeting to you, eager to share the local gossip. Where is she? Ah! Never mind. The orange against the background, I wasn't seeing it properly. Alright. Dude, the pub crawls are awesome. You can actually get so drunk in this game that you'll wake up, you'll like black out, and you'll wake up in another zone, and you'll be like missing your pants. It's freaking hilarious. It's so awesome. Can you just go there and quest as a human? It says Goblin Courier of the Yondershire. Yeah. I just remember, if I remember correctly, the quests are like orange at level 18. I think they're literally level 20 quests. But you can go to the Shire, go up through Needle Hole, or whatever it's called.
Uruks and goblins! You cannot be serious!
The Stoor Vales are so peaceful. Hang on. The only thing we hear is the occasional howling of wolves and the carrying on of our neighbors in Glen Helig. But you didn't hear that from me. She lowers her voice. If I was pressed to put the villages in sort of order, I would place Lintrim at the top, followed by Clegger, and it would be Glen Helig that brought up the rear. Still, I would not wish goblins or orcs upon any of my fellow Stoors. Alright, so now we need to go back. We go to Malmadog. We can ride back to Clegger.
A lovely day, isn't it?
Dark Lord Present says, I'm playing as a man and starting to breathe. Should I do all the starter zones before moving east? I would, if you weren't here for the earlier discussion, excuse me, I may need to get a drink, guys. To avoid being overwhelmed, Dark Lord, just stick to the prologue and book quests. They will be clearly marked in your quest journal as prologue and or chapter 1, like book 5, chapter 3, book 6, chapter 2. Follow those quests. That's your #1 North Star guiding arrow. Anything you do outside of that is optional, is up to you. So follow those quests, go to the places where it shows you, do the quests around there, and just keep going until you get to the point where the quests become too difficult. Once they get to be orange, they're a little higher level. You'll need to do some zone quests around them. They do. It's literally right there. There's a number. That's a level 6 quest. It also has color coding. Blue is lower level. Green is much lower. Gray is trivial. White is the same level as you. Yellow is slightly above you. Orange is slightly above that. Wait, is there yellow in this game? I can't remember if there's yellow in this game. I can't remember now if I'm thinking of another game. But it's orange. Orange and red are like, red is like good luck. But it does have a number, and it tells you what level they are. Can you play a liver Hobbit on a legendary server? I am on a legendary server. I am on the Angmar server, so as long as you have them unlocked, you can absolutely play them. That's what I'm doing right now, the River Hobbit in the River Hobbit starting area. supposed to talk to somebody. In the village. He's back there. Oh, he's up top? Why are all the name tags off? That's why I was confused. All the name. I actually hit the end button. I
Well,
think it
it
turned
seems
the.
these are strange days indeed.
Fudgy Muffin says they sent you my songs. I did a parody on Lady Gaga's Poker Face to Tater Face. And one called Hobbit Feet of Hope, which I wrote myself. Nice. Is it possible to start a river hobbit and travel to the Shire to do questing? Absolutely. The first... I think it's the first fast travel mount that you meet, you can take to Mickle Delving. They actually give you a quest when you come out of the River Hobbit. When you come out of the River Hobbit starting area, they give you a quest to get the cosmetic gear that I'm wearing. That quest requires you to travel to Mickle Delving and talk to the mayor of Mickle Delving. So you could easily just ignore everything else, go to Mickle Delving on the horse, get your cosmetic gear, and start questing in the Shire. So for sure. Nuftoria says, you said you traveled for a few years. Were you a nomad? Like van life? No. Digital nomad, referring to traveling and making a living while I was traveling around the world. I did what was called... So this became a thing. It was the way that I chose to travel. No, MP Frams. When you get done with the tutorial, you will be presented with a mount NPC, like the guy I just talked to, the fast travel people. And you will have an option to travel to Mickle Delving for free from the area that you're going to be in. So don't worry about the where on the map. Just when you get out of that initial tutorial, you will be at a mount fast travel person, and you can take it to Mickle Delving. So don't stress about that. Anyway, travel. I did what was called immersion travel. So I would go to a location and spend at least 3 months there, sometimes 3 to 6 months. I would rent an apartment, live like a local. So the guidebooks that I sold were literally called Live Like a Local in X Destination. And so either I would create those on my own, or I would get hired to go to a destination and spend a few months in a destination. Usually working with tourism boards, to go in and, live like a local for a few months and produce lots of articles and videos and photos. Not so much videos back in the day because it was all blogs. So it was about the blog post and the photos associated with the blog post. YouTube back then was just a place where you put videos. Like nobody was getting paid doing YouTube. That came along much later. So back in the day, it was all done through your blog and through photos. So immersion travel, going somewhere for a few months, living like a local. Did that. I lived in Bulgaria. I lived in Colombia. Did some travel in Macedonia. I got in trouble with going into Greece one time from Turkey because I had been in Macedonia, and there's a Greek island of Macedonia, and they don't like the fact that they all have the same names, and so I had a stamp in my passport from the country of Macedonia, and I was coming back into Greece from Turkey, and they looked at my passport, and I got pulled out from the group and taken into a room and questioned and grilled about why I had this stamp on my passport, because apparently what should have happened when I came into Greece, or when I left Greece, was that, because we went back, I forget exactly what order it was, but it was like the part of the Greece. I went in and maybe it was coming out, but the person who had stamped my passport from Greece the first time should not have stamped my passport, because they're not allowed to share the same passport. Like, the stamps are not supposed to share the same passport because of political things, so they're supposed to stamp a piece of paper, which they put into your passport, and then on your way out, they stamp that piece of paper as the exit stamp, and then you can ditch the piece of paper. But somebody had stamped my passport, and so I had one from Macedonia and one from Greece, and that pissed the Greek officials off. So I had fun. Well, these days that's what everybody does, New Victorious, is the people who are doing what I used to do, these days they do it through YouTube and TikTok. So they have travel channels on YouTube, and some of them have evolved. Like there's a couple that I remember seeing them when they first got started. It's called Samuel and Aubrey, I think is what they're called. I haven't watched their stuff in a while, maybe a year and a half. Her family is from Argentina, but they migrated to Canada, and he's Canadian. And they're like a travel blogging couple. And they migrated from travel blogging into travel vlogging through YouTube, and amassed a pretty good following on YouTube. And then started a channel for Spanish language content as well. And then they ended up, most recently, bought a homestead property, bought property in Argentina, and sort of have evolved their channel from traveling full time to now renovating this family property thing that they got a hold of, which is like an old hotel. It's completely run down. The property's completely run down, and they're basically now documenting the renovation of that property. The last time I checked in on them, most of the people that I know who were doing what I used to do are no longer doing it because COVID just wiped travel off the map for most people. Unless you were independently wealthy and could afford the hotel stays during quarantine, you know, that was no longer a sustainable job. But there are, you know, the people who are doing it these days are doing it all through YouTube and TikTok and stuff. And Chris and I have talked about it. I think I even did a video on this a couple of years ago. Would I ever return to travel? And the reality is, I don't think we would, because we did travel for so many years as work. And I used to love travel. For me was always the number one. When I was a kid, I wanted to be Indiana Jones. I wanted to become an archaeologist. That opportunity did not come my way because of reasons. I didn't get to go to college because of life. I was kicked out and when I was a teenager and had to pay rent, and so I could never go to college. But I managed to find my own way of doing that, in that I started traveling when I was 19 was my first trip abroad. And I had a construction company, so I would work really hard and make a bunch of money over like 6 to 8 months when the weather was good. And then when the weather went shit, I would go to Europe and I would travel. And then that was always my thing. Every year I would go somewhere. And when the opportunity presented itself to move abroad, I did. Sold my tools, sold my truck, sold everything, and moved abroad. And that just started this whole, well, now I'm living in Europe. I have lots of places I can travel to within Europe. And I wasn't even considering, like, I had a personal little blog thing where I was like, this is what I'm doing this weekend. I'm hiking in the mountains outside of Sofia. And that became this thing of like, oh, well, this can be monetized. This could become a career path. So that became something that supplemented my writing career, and then it eventually became the career. I think it was by the time I moved to Cancun, which was 2010, I was actually making enough money, like doing travel writing, that I switched away from like websites and short stories and everything else, and was just focused on travel writing. But no, I never did the van life thing. It was always rent apartments for long periods of time. That's the rambling answer to your question. If I had to do it all over again, though, these days it would be done through a YouTube channel, because that's just how it's done these days. When I did it, it was through a blog and guidebooks and stuff. Argentina is beautiful, yeah. No, you probably couldn't firewater. There's a lot of restrictions these days, and that's why, yeah, multiple passports is not a bad thing. But I did, I've done a lot of traveling. I do miss some things, but like I just went up in June, and it was my first trip in a few years, and I do not want to do it that way again. I did the long haul. I left here at like 9 o'clock in the morning, went to the city, stayed in a hotel because I had an early flight the next day, got up the next morning and had a full day of flights, like 3 transfers, you know, and then stayed that night at a hotel, and then my brother came and got me the next morning. So it was 2 hotel nights back to back, bookended by, you know, it was just a long, like, 48 hours. And I was like, I do not miss this shit. I do not miss red-eye flights and travel lag and sick people at the airport and shitty airplane food and, like, custom lines and immigration. I will say this. So I've been having a couple of bad days, actually, with my leg, but it's getting better all the time. But I was still bad enough that in June I actually used wheelchair assistance. I've never done that before, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And it was the first time I've ever traveled where like the immigration lines were like nothing because there's someone wheeling you through the airport, and so like you still have to go through security and stuff, but like immigration is like you don't wait in line if you're getting wheelchair assistance. They take you straight to an agent and you're through. So it was the first time I ever traveled where I didn't have to spend hours of time in line with immigration, but I'm watching everybody else going, I don't miss that at all. I don't miss it one little bit. Like all that travel, hotels and everything else. I remember when we went to Ireland was one of the worst it's ever been.
Well, it seems these are strange days indeed.
Talk to Flam Hiller. Better hear the story from him. When we went to Ireland, to 2017, there was like 5 planes arriving in Dublin at the same time. And Chris and I spent, I think it was almost 4 hours in a line to get into the country. And it was like, this is not, we were there for a month on contract, you know, so you're there for work, so you got to suck it up. But had I just been traveling, I would have been like, yeah, screw this. This is 4 hours in immigration is ridiculous.
There are Uruks about, stranger.
And it's just as, every time I go to the U.S., it's just as bad. It's anytime you're coming in internationally. We caught ourselves in Uruk. So I don't miss airports.
I left Drusy behind to guard the prisoner, so I could ask the mayor what to do.
Okay, let's talk to Menelder and see what he says.
We had better follow him to his captive, and quickly.
I fear the harm an Uruk might do if that's their captive. This is the view I was seeing
Lead
out
on,
the canyon.
Fran. Where does your friend hold captive this Uruk?
Just a quick jog up the hill. But I do miss, like, exploration of new cultures is really fun. And, you know, there's always confusion with, like, languages and stuff like that, but it's gotten much better over the years with everybody speaks multiple languages now. And, you know, now that I speak Spanish, like, that opened up so many more doors for me being able to speak a second language. And I really wish I would have kept my Bulgarian, because I did speak a little bit of Bulgarian by the time I left, and I unfortunately let it slide, and I never took it as serious as I probably should have. But Spanish in particular, a lot of work opportunities in different countries. I had a lot of fun in Colombia. Colombia was a good time. Colombia is one of the coolest trips I've taken on my own, like as a solo traveler back in the day. But I also had a lot of fun in England and Greece, Italy. Italy is still probably my favorite destination. Nope, I've never been to Canada. Blue Line. Whatever it's called. Gambler, I think. Yeah. So she's a tough little Hobbit chick. Did you see those boars? They ran right past here. I didn't want to take my attention off the captive. The boar meat can be brought back to the village when you're done here. Perhaps there more pressing matters? It would be a shame to let so many potential dinners. She's so focused on the boars that went by. You have no idea what's coming for you. All of you. For anybody watching tonight for the first time, I am multi-streaming on YouTube and Twitch, so you can watch in both places, wherever you prefer. We've been doing Lord of the Rings Online on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Central. The main streams happen during the day at 11 a.m. Central. Tomorrow morning we are kicking off Star Wars Outlaws, probably starting a little bit early tomorrow. Playing Star Wars Outlaws, then going into Space Marine 2, and then the Shattered Space DLC for Starfield over the next month. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I published my schedule for the next 6 months. So if you want to keep up to date with all the games we're playing from now until March, you can check out that post video. You got me talking about posts now because we were talking about blogs. Maintain your vision. Flam, Telemar to me. Urakai. More? Oh, our captive is dying. Well, it's one less orc in the world. This is an Uruk arrow. Ooh, somebody shot one of their own. He dies by the deeds of his own kind. They were not here to rescue him at all. There we go. This changes nothing. Hatred flashes in his eyes. Hear the words of Stoor. You will die at the hands of the Uruk-hai. But I do love the Mediterranean, guys. I love the Mediterranean food. I love the Mediterranean weather. It can get a little hot in the summertime sometimes, but the seafood is amazing. The views are great. I like it a little cooler than the Mediterranean sometimes, but there are ways to avoid the summer heat. I think the ultimate fantasy, which Chris and I have talked about, if we ever got rich, you know, one day, I think my ultimate fantasy, she wants a caravan. She wants to do caravan. She wants to do the van thing. And I want a little coastal hugger sailboat. Just cruise the coast of the Mediterranean. We've joked about it before, like, well, if we ever get like wealthy, we'll get a boat, we'll get a caravan, and we'll park them both in Spain, and we will go there every summer. Why did he speak the name of Saruman? CC96, about to start my LOTRO journey. Pretty excited, not gonna lie. It is a good game. You're gonna have a lot of fun.
Thank you for aiding my folk. It reflects well upon you and upon me.
I have but little to do with wizards, but I can tell you from your friend's expression that those tidings of Saruman can mean nothing good. Alright, some ragged leather boots.
Why does your ranger friend just stand there, like a lump on a log?
'Cause he's grumpy.
I cannot believe this.
Can it be true that Saruman commanded these Uruks to attack the folk of Swanfleet? Why would the wizard wish to do harm to the folk of Mosswood? He's never even been a watchful protector of... Or he has ever been a watchful protector of Middle-earth. What has changed? So if you've never read the books, that's not going to make any... You're gonna understand the context of who he is, but you're not going to understand the context of he has ever been a watchful protector of Middle-earth. You're going to be like, oh, he's a wizard. Okay. All wizards are protectors in different fantasy stories. But it's way more than that when you've read The Lord of the Rings and you understand the greater duty of the wizards and what they were supposed to do on Middle-earth. I cannot believe Saruman is capable of such treachery. There must be something else to blame for the orc presence in these lands. So even now, he you know, this is technically before certain events have happened. I'm trying to not spoil it because there are actually people in chat who haven't read the books, which is surprising, but hey, it happens. We're going back to Sisward.
Good day.
Mossward? Yeah. Franca says I'm starting over on the Mordor server. My characters in Evernight are going to be on holiday for a long time. I'm at least here for the foreseeable future. As long as we're getting, you know, we had about 70 people tuning in earlier. We're down to about 40 right now. You know, if there's 35 to 50 people tuning into the streams, I'll definitely keep doing this on Monday nights. But if we ever drop below like 30 viewers, that'll be when we wrap it up and move on to other things. So that's the urge of everyone to remember that Monday nights, 6 p.m. Central. I had no intention of playing this until that one video blew up on me. So I was like, all right, I'll go play for a little bit, make some guides, do some new streams. I hadn't seen this area, so I'm happy to, at the very least, if this is all I do on the Legendary server, is just finish the River Hobbit starting area, I will consider my journey a success, because this is like the one thing I haven't seen. Outside of like the high level stuff with like Angmar and stuff, which I haven't seen. It's launch time, isn't it? For World of Warcraft Metro? Yeah, it's launched, dude. Like the server's just turned on, like what, 30 minutes ago or something? Let me go look at my clock. Like 45 minutes ago is when they went live. So yeah, I would expect tonight's gonna be a shit show. I hit 78 and finished the last zone storyline, and I thought I was done because it said like you're done with the War Within, but then it said you have to get to 80 to like finish. So I have to actually go level up the character to like get the credit to finish the War Within campaign. Because I really wanted to like go unlock my Earthen later tonight, and it's like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. I'll just level up on Wednesday night. I'll level up and then I'll create my Earthen on stream. And I'm totally boosting that character. I'm not gonna go level up through Dragonflight again. Fuck that. I've already done. I like Dragonflight, but I've done it for like the last 9 months. I'm totally gonna spend $60 and just boost my dude. Not ashamed to admit it. That's what it's there for.
We won't be caught off guard again.
Bring us another barrel of weapons. The campaign was short, but when you look at everything else they've got, the completionist journey, there's dozens of hours of quests out there if you want to do all the zones. And then there's also delves, there's dungeons. Dude, the backflip off the balcony was pretty cool. Like backflip off and diving down, that was cool. You know, I would say there's like usually I get like Battle for Azeroth, other expansions. I will usually get about 35 to 40 hours out of everything. I'm looking like I'll get 35 to 40 hours out of everything in the War Within. So even though the campaign feels a little shorter, there's enough other stuff that journey is still going to be a 40-hour journey for me. With all of the side quests and delves, I'm going to get my Earthen leveled up. We got raids coming up, the seasonal storylines, but it's a different cadence for them too. So if I had to guess, they're going to be dropping more story content as we get deeper into this. I had a good time. I think it took me... I would actually have to go... Let me go look real quick. I feel like it took me 12 or 15 hours to do the campaign. but I can go check this out really quick. Let's see. That is that's 2. So that's 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have 20 hours. 20 hours. It took me 20 hours to do the campaign. I know that some people did the campaign in 5 to 8 hours. It took me 20 hours to do the campaign. So that's a pretty good... That's just the campaign. I'll actually get way more than 40 hours then, because I'm going to turn around and do my Earthen now, and he's going to do the completionist journey and do all the zone quests and all the delves and all the dungeons and everything else. So I'll probably get another 40 hours out on top of the 20 I've already got. So I know some people said they're like, oh, the campaign was 5 hours. I was done with the campaign, and I'm like 12 hours in going, it's not that short for me. Like I don't know what you did to blow through, but it took me, I'm looking at my streams right now. I'm looking at the stream time on all my streams, and I'm calculating it up, and it's 20 hours is what I did through early access. So 20 hours, and all I did some side questing through the first stream, but pretty much I only focused on the campaign and unlocking the Earthen. Like those 2 storylines. Everything else I just left to the side because I knew my Earthen was going to come back and do it. Pick up a barrel of swords inside the blacksmith's shop. Wait, did I go in the wrong shop? I went in the wrong shop, I think. Yeah, I totally did. See door, click door. Wrong door. Rings of Power. 2 days, 3 days, the 29th. Chris and I are going to start watching that. I will be reviewing those episodes here on the channel. So stay tuned for those, because we'll have, I think that's in a couple of days. What is the date today? 26th. It's all good, Franca. Like, I'm getting ready to start Star Wars Outlaws tomorrow, and someone was telling me it's like 30 to 40 hours, and I'm like, that's perfect, because my normal day streams are 3 hours. So if I play 3 hours a day, it takes me 2 weeks. It takes me 2 weeks to play a 30-hour game. You know, I do this for a living, so you know, I would not judge my pace of playing games by the way that you play games. But like, if you look at how I normally play games, like my normal streams, like to the daytime, like I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft over the past few days because it's been live. You know, I've got it early access, but that 20 hours is spread out over like 6 days or whatever, however many days it's been. I don't remember how many days it's been. It's not been 6 days. But like a normal game, like a 40-hour game, takes me 2 weeks. Oh, Metro, hold up. Metro's just said, I just saw that players won't be able to unlock the Earthen Race until September 3rd. What? Are you shitting me? Do you have a link to that you could drop in Discord? In the guild Discord? Ruff says, played a bit of Outlaws early access today. Solid and fun. Love the sounds. I can't wait, guys. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Star Wars and Indiana Jones are my 2 big releases this year. Now I'm going to go look this up because... Blizzard had just confirmed that the final campaign storyline required to unlock the Earthen Race will not be available until September 3rd. Ugh! Well, that's next Tuesday. Because the final storyline chapter is not going to become available until September 3rd. Well, that changes my plans entirely for the next week of World of Warcraft then. So I guess I will be grinding delves and doing some stuff on my druid, which is fine. But that changes my alt plans a bit. Yeah, it's login queue right now, guys. The servers are probably freaking out. 15 million people trying to log in. All the 9 to 5s. It's the plebs. The plebs are coming. I'm just sarcasm. What's up, Brett? Have ever played Elder Scrolls? Yep, multiple times. I don't main it, but I have dabbled in that game over the years. I usually come in and do like a expansion storyline. Like I've done the Morrowind story. I think I've done 3 times. I've done ESO. It's never grabbed me for more than a few months at a time. I do love the Elder Scrolls single-player games, though. Dreamwilder says, what's my take on Rings of Power? I just put a video out last week, I think, on, like, the rewatch of Rings of Power, and also looking at like what I think of season 2. I'm looking forward to it. Everything I've seen from the trailers so far, it makes me feel like they are paying attention to the lore a little bit more this time around, which is going to be a good thing. But I watched the first season in a very unique way because I was critical of it as a Tolkien fan, but I also watched it through the eyes of my wife, who has never read the books. And so she loves the Peter Jackson films, and she watched Rings of Power, and she gave it an 8 out of 10 because she loved it. Whereas I watched it and said, okay, there are like I can't stand the Mithril storyline, but I also couldn't stand when George Lucas did midichlorians. Like I was like, ah. So viewed with the tempered reasoning of adulthood instead of the knee-jerk reaction of a rage-bait crybaby, I can recognize that Rings of Power Season 1 had its weak points, but it was overall a good show that brought more people to Middle-earth, and there's nothing wrong with that. We don't have to love everything that comes out from a franchise. I certainly don't love the Ewok movies from the 80s, even though I loved them as a child. Those are not my favorite piece of Star Wars, but they are an important part of Star Wars nevertheless. Rings of Power Season 1 is a step in the journey to what hopefully can become a better show through feedback. The trailers I've seen looks like they're going much more closer to what we know of the history of Sauron and the Forging of the Rings, but remember, they can't touch the Silmarillion, and this is where way too many of the Tolkien nerds, and I'm one of them, but many Tolkien nerds cannot separate "it has to be like the book" from the fact that they don't own the rights to the Silmarillion. They can't touch that, and so they have to do things in broad strokes, and they have to invent a lot of stuff because of the way the rights are divided up between the Lord of the Rings properties and the Silmarillion, and they are working with the Tolkien estate to do what they can to make things work. So I'm looking forward to Season 2. I will be critical of it in all the places where I need to be critical of it, but I'm not going to shit on it just because it's not like it was in the books, because they don't own the rights to the books that it's based off of. So I ended up, like, I think I would have to go back and watch my final review of season 1, but I think at the time, like, my wife gave it an 8 out of 10. I gave it, like, from the purpose of, like, an entertainment source, I gave it like a 6 out of a 10, because it had some moments that I really liked, but there were things that I didn't like in terms of how they played fast and loose with the lore. So we'll see, but I am looking forward to season 2. Can't wait. It's going to be good. And yes, I've played Skyrim, but I prefer Oblivion. And Outlaws is definitely going to hit the mark for me. I've loved everything I've seen so far. Brett says, small business owner, there's no sleep. That is very true. I don't disagree, Ralph. That would be a lot of fun. A Lord of the Rings game made by the people who made the Harry Potter Legacy of Hogwarts Legacy game. I would be down for that. I keep reaching for my controller and then I keep forgetting that I'm not playing WoW. I will tell you what I know of the three wizards, Telebar, and I will let you judge our chances. Alright, so, knowledge of Radagast. Of all the three wizards, I have only met this one in person, Radagast the Brown, a master of shapes and hues and friend to all good-hearted beasts and birds. He seemed a jovial chap to me when I met him. I cannot believe he would turn against us. I know little about Gandalf the Grey. They say he walks the land with the aid of an old walking stick, pipe smoke curling about the tall hat he wears, but I've never seen him. My former chieftain, Strider, knew him and believed him a kindly soul. I have never known my chieftain to judge someone wrongly, and if he had, it was not his fault, but another's. Still, I would not have believed any of the wizards could be corrupted either. I have always understood Saruman the White to be the most learned of the wizards and the greatest of their order. Can it be that he no longer seeks to protect the free peoples of Middle-earth? I cannot believe this is so. Dude, I love Beneldair's outfit. I would love to have that for one of my characters. Ooh, he actually doesn't look like he has one of the new faces. Like, his looks like one of the old face models. I wonder why it's like that. Take the ragged leather shirt. We only know for certain that the Uruks have come to Swanfleet. They believe that they do so at Saruman's command. That means the White Wizards cannot be trusted. Shh! We are being observed. Who are you? What you listening to? What? I didn't hear anything I wasn't supposed to hear. Okay. I plan to search further afield for some clue to Saruman's purpose. Why don't you travel east where the road from the Endedwaith meets the Swanfleet? Endedwaith meets... I'm gonna have to... slow down. Go to where the road from Endedwaith enters Swanfleet. The raiding party may have come from there. If you're on the legendary server, there are no options, friends. If you're on a free-to-play server, there may be options. Yep, you're welcome. enjoy, Mike. It's good to hear. We are 3 followers away from 35,000 on YouTube, which is the goal that Chris and I set at the beginning of the year to hit by the end of 2024. Did you get a Delve mount, Metro? How did you get it? Did you log in and just had it, or did you get it to drop? Like, are you talking the dirigible ship? I'll be right back, everybody. I need to get a beverage. There was a quest to delve and it unlocks it. The quest icon is a purple triangle. I haven't found any purple triangle icon quests yet. Did you find it in Donegal? Where'd you find that, Metro? I purposefully haven't done any delves either. I've picked up like 6 or 7 delve quests. But now that I know that I can't unlock the earthen for another week, oh, we gotta ride quite a bit out. We should probably go back to... It's probably going to be quickest to go to Langaren.
Hello there.
Can I go to Langaren? I've not been to Langaren yet. I don't want to go to Lintrev because I'll have to backtrack. Let's go to Glen Helig and we'll just go north. Is it Donegal? Probably popped up after release. You know what? I bet that's true because they didn't want anybody getting a chance to go get that cool delve mount before anyone else. That makes total sense. Well, that'll be my project on Wednesday then. get to level 80 and get my dirigible. Dirigible? I forget how to pronounce that. My steampunk mount. Delve mount in World of Warcraft. Time for a LOTRO, the server crashed again. Yeah, I'm actually happy that I'm not. I'm happy that tonight is a LOTRO night because I get to ignore that altogether. I'm just like, yep, I'm gonna go do something else. I already had something else on the calendar. Look at those cliffs, guys, with the waterfall. It's really cool stuff, man. Does he just got me riding cross country over here? Like, totally, we did not take the road. I think this is the first time I've ever seen him like send you off just through the wilderness on a horse before, other than maybe when you do Weathertop. To go to Weathertop, you do ride through the countryside to go from Bree to Weathertop. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Oh, I need to check the weather too. Nope, I think the rain is on its way out for today. But tomorrow, storm's rolling in at 3 p.m. Oh, CC Felton, man, you missed my answer? Dude, we had a whole like 10 or 15 minute rant about that. Not rant, but discussion on how I avoid that kind of stuff. I did. I'm wearing them right now, Ares, if that was who sent them. I didn't know who sent them. Like, obviously characters, you know, somebody sent them. But I'm wearing them right now. I've got both of them equipped. So, yes, thank you. I said thanks on the stream, but you might have ducked out last week. I didn't know who'd sent them, so I was just saying thanks to whoever sent the daggers. Garrett says, my first character is a river hobbit burglar. I was debating on starting a minstrel and watched your guide, which looked like a hobbit. Yeah, it was. What's the best race for min-max? There is no min-max anymore, Garrett. There hasn't been for years. The races all get like a passive little... Fuck, I forget what it... I don't remember how to even see it in game anymore, to be honest with you. Is it going to be under my passives, maybe? Yeah. Like, for example, Hardy, this is a river hobbit, so one of my passive racials is I get +8 maximum morale. And I have improved frost mitigation. like that kind of stuff. So no, that's different. The race traits and stuff. Oh, I see what you're talking about. These things as well. This is slightly different. These are the ones you can earn. I was speaking more towards the base passives. So there's the base passives. Then there are the racial traits, which are what someone in chat was just saying to bring up. So this is another thing where you can go through, and there are things like, as an example, Guile and Tactics bonus, 5% to damage from Guile and Fellowship skills, 5% to power restoration from Tactics Fellowship skills. This doesn't fucking matter unless you're playing with a group, because you're not gonna be you don't get to do Fellowship maneuvers solo. Those only apply if you're in a group. So if you're soloing, that's pointless. Other stuff in here, like there's one there's like a sword bonus or something. Yeah, spear damage bonus, dagger damage bonus, 5%. Is that a big deal? Not to me. It may be if you want to min or max, but no one really min maxes in this game. Like, it's not necessary, because you can adjust the landscape difficulty to suit your playstyle. You can solo all the book quests. You get the buff to make yourself all powerful. It really only matters if you're going to join an in-game guild and do in-game raiding. That's the only group who care, and that's like a fraction of a single % of the player base of LOTRO. Most players who play this game are here to immerse themselves in Middle Earth, not try to be like in-game raiders like World of Warcraft, because there's no mythical raiding or anything like that in this game. There's a couple of encounters at the end. So yeah, Fellowship maneuvers used to be a big deal. You used to have to use those for group content, and you needed to know it. It's like, we need a power boost, we need a morale boost, like so I mean, if you want to get into the meta, sure, race can matter if you want to get like the maximum amount of damage and stuff, but for 99.9% of players, none of that stuff matters. No one cares about it. It's just a personal kind of ladder that you can climb if you want to, if you're seeking that sort of achievement type gameplay, because there are deeds associated with earning all of those racial traits. You'll have to go out and kill. It's a lot of grinding. I think Belloc just said that. With all the traits and virtues, there's a lot of grinding. Yes, you have to grind if you want to unlock these, the racial traits. You have to grind to unlock these, because these are all locked behind deeds. And then you can only get so many per. You get one at level, what is it? Level 13. Next one's at 19, 25, 31, 37. It'll take you a while to unlock all these, and these are related to things like kill 750 spiders, kill 3,000 Dunlendings or something. There's I don't remember what all these are, but they are all related to going somewhere and grinding for many hours on end. Unless you just ignore them, get high level, come back. Like, one of the easiest ways to get like faction with Thorin's Hall is to go into Sarnor, which is a dungeon right outside of Thorin's Hall, when you're high level, and you just AoE clear the entire dungeon like 2 or 3 times, and you'll have enough faction to go buy like your goat mount, before you go into Moria. Or you could just go to the cash shop and buy it from the LOTRO store. But yeah, I haven't done these things in a long time. Some of them are little things like self-port. I don't know if that one's in here. You could provide a bonus. Is that a passive bonus? No, that's an active ability. Has a 5-minute cooldown. But it lasts for 30 seconds. So there's some fun stuff in the racial traits. Vibing out to the music. We need to search for a sign of the Uruks. Nah, I won't. Not in this stream. Belloc's question was, have I touched on legendary weapons? For anybody playing on the legendary servers, it's so far away. it's not worth talking about yet. Oops. I needed to keep going north. Don't turn west until we cross the river. Because the legendary weapon system, that's a whole other traceries and masteries. God, I'm so rusty and all that anyway. I'd have to go play one of my high-level tunes to remember how it all works. But it's a long way away. Does anyone know what's the release schedule on this server for Mordor? Does anyone know that question? Whether you're on YouTube or Twitch, anybody? I want to say it was like 6 months on Treebeard, and I don't know if they're doing the Treebeard schedule here or if they're doing a different schedule. Because whenever Moria comes into play, that's when legendary weapons come into play, and that's as far as I'm aware, that's like 3-4 months down the road, if that. I don't even know if they're doing it that quickly. We should be getting close. No, we're still got a ways to go. Some sort of Gondorian ruins up ahead. Have they not officially stated it, Goblin Courier? I don't think I've ever seen it posted anywhere. Falcons also said they haven't stated the schedule yet. Okay, copy that. Yeah, I want to say for the past ones, it's been either 4 months or 6 months. It's been quite a while. They take it down the line a little bit. So I'd say it'll probably be end of year at the earliest. Search one of the dead Uruks. The Uruk was slain by a sword much like the one he carried. It won't be Treebeard, says Falcons. The scheduled rumor right now is that it's going to be 3 to 4 months. Yeah, which means what? October, November? When did this server start? Like a month ago, I think, or maybe a little bit longer. I know I came into it late, so. Oh, he's back in Mossword. Am I bound in Mossword? Yes. It did start in August, so yeah. So it's like August, September, October. Let's say it comes November. November, December will be when, at the earliest, it would be that Moria comes into play. And that's when you get legendary weapons. And that's when things get really fun. Because that's when crafters can start making legendary weapons as well. Get your guild faction leveled up for the crafting guilds. Goblin Courier says I'm just level 1 and clueless. Nothing wrong with that. Red Jar Germ says hype for Halloween and Yule. Oh yeah, one of the coolest things about this game, like Summer Festival I think is going on right now. I'm not going to participate because I've done it before. But the seasonal festivals they have in Lord of the Rings Online are really, really, really good. And the Halloween one and the Christmas one are pretty freaking epic. So don't miss out on those.
You bring interesting
if you're
tidings.
a first-time player. Yes, you get great mounts, you get great cosmetic gear, you get housing decorations that you can only get at festival times. Some really cool housing stuff. Perhaps the decision to talk Mossword was made not by the wizard but by the Uruks themselves. It is curious. Let's melt them down. I guess we just talk to him. Book 1, chapter
More
1.
world blades? I didn't ask for these.
Do I have... What cloak do I have? I'm not wearing a cloak right now. Ooh. Oh, these all look like doggy do, probably. Well, I'm gonna have to get a cosmetic cloak to go with my outfit, so give me a minute. Might, vitality, finesse. Agility, finesse. I'm gonna go for the agility, finesse.
Would you do something about Tegwin? He's been bothering me since this morning.
So this has now moved out of prologue, and we're now into book 1 at this point. And now we're getting yellow gear from the quests.
What can I do to help the
I'm
village?
ready for a more
Can I
important
come with you?
adventuring task, Telemar. Maybe I can go along with you. Great, that's all I need is a tag along. I need to get rid of this helmet too. Alright, hang on. Hang on. We got to do something important right now. Cosmetic outfits. Outfit 1. Turn off that ridiculous hat. And I need a different cloak. I don't think I have any cool cloaks from the collector's stuff. It's not gonna match. That's blue. This one I think is... No. I want the cloak that my other Hobbit has, but that was a very special dye that cost like 500 gold. Let's check the LOTRO store and see if there's any cool cloaks for sale. I got points. MPM friend says, let's say in 3 months new content releases. How do you start that content? Elrond will have a quest. You'll be prompted. But the zone unlock is a Region. Or maybe actually a Region might already be live right now, but I think there's quests there that will unlock. And Elrond will have a quest. And it's a really cool... It's really cool. Like, so this is why the Christmas date is so important. Like, Lord of the Rings is a Christmas story, because that's when they set off from Rivendell. There is a quest that Elrond will have you do where you see the Fellowship off from Rivendell. It's a story-related quest. It's a lot of fun. You're interacting with all the characters from the books. You see them off from Rivendell, and then you follow in their footsteps through a Region to the Gates of Moria, and then you will do some quests there to forge a legendary weapon. You'll deal with the Watcher in the Waters, and you'll go into Moria, and then you will begin your long journey through the dark. And it's a long time. Three months in the darks of Moria, you will be gasping for air when you finally make it to the other side to Lothlorien. You'll be like, oh my god, sunlight! I can finally see the sun! Garrett says, is this the best MMO you ever played? What sets it apart gameplay-wise? It is the best MMO I ever played, and the gameplay is not what sets it apart for me. The gameplay is rudimentary. The gameplay is what I've seen in every other MMORPG I've ever played. What sets it apart for me is that this is Middle-earth, and the writing is absolutely amazing. It's old, it's dated, it lacks a lot of quality of life features, but it's Middle-earth. It's the only MMO we have right now in Middle-earth, and even though it's older, it has been crafted with love, and it makes you feel like you're in Middle-earth. That, to me, is worth its weight in gold. Cloaks! Let's go look at cloaks. Let's see if I can find a cloak. Ooh, or a backpack. Moria is a lot of fun, and I would also say that if you could get a chance to do Moria with a group of static players or a good guild, the Moria dungeons are really challenging and a lot of fun. Like, a lot of fun. It's like traditional World of Warcraft, EverQuest 2 style, Final Fantasy 14 style dungeons. I mean, they're proper instance dungeons. But you need a group to run them with. Although these days with the matchmaking system they've got in the game, you can do that as well. Man, you can't see these, you can't look at these cosmetically anymore like you used to be able to. You used to be able to cosmetically preview these on your character, and I don't see the ability to do that anymore. The Cook's Pack. Man, if I cared about cooking on this character, that'd be food. The Cook's Trappings. Some of these backpacks are pretty cool. Well, you used to be able to, like, cosmetically preview what these... Because you could preview everything else. There's the End Leave Survival backpack right there. Red Georgia. The Mapmaker's Travel Pack. Man, if I wasn't a burglar, that Mapmaker Travel Pack looks really good. Really, really good. This looks kind of cool. I wish I could... With laces down the back. I might buy this. The graphic looks pretty cool. Let's see if the graphic looks as cool as it might look in game. Okay, I can dig that. That definitely kind of goes with my outfit, kind of, sort of. It's a little too rattered and tatty, but I can make it work. It's good enough for now. It's really good stuff. Favorite classes? The Hunter and Lore Master, definitely. I love the Hunter in this game. The Ranger, it's really good. And the Lore Master is a lot of fun. With all the pets you can gather and control. It's good stuff. Well, folks, I'm going to call it here. We will be back next week. We have about 50 viewers right now, so that's still a good turnout. If we keep having 50 people tune into the Monday night streams, we'll keep doing this for the foreseeable future. Monday nights at 6 p.m. Central is the scheduled time. I went a little bit earlier tonight just because I had a spare time so we're actually stopping a little bit earlier than we normally would. Tomorrow morning, the daily streams kick off, usually at 11 a.m. Central, but tomorrow I'm going live a little bit earlier tomorrow. We're starting our Star Wars Outlaws journey. So if you want to tune into that, I'll be streaming live on YouTube and Twitch. We're going to be playing that for the next couple of weeks before we roll into Space Marine 2 and then Shattered Space DLC for Starfield after that. I play Lord of the Rings on Monday nights, and I play World of Warcraft on Wednesdays and Saturday nights at 6 p.m. Central on those evening sessions. So the evening sessions, 6 p.m. The morning sessions start at usually 11 a.m., but tomorrow I'm going to be starting earlier. And then on Sunday morning, I'm doing a special No Man's Sky stream, which starts at 5 a.m. Central North American time, which is middle of the afternoon for the Europeans. So if you want to continue to hang out while I play No Man's Sky, that's on Sundays. So it's a pretty big schedule. The easiest thing to do is just subscribe everywhere, join the Discord, follow along on socials. That way you get notifications when I go live, because I do stream more than just once a day. I think the only days I only stream once a day are Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every other day I stream twice a day. Except for Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those I only do once a day. So I'll see everybody tomorrow or next week, whenever you tune in. Thanks very much for being here. Thanks for everybody who supports financially, whether it's a subscription on Twitch or a membership on YouTube. This does allow me to do this full-time for a living. Thanks, everybody. Check out all the other streams. I do lots of different things, play lots of different games. Don't forget, we're going to be reviewing Rings of Power soon. And I've also just picked up the... Chris, I think we're going to watch it tonight. We're going to watch the newest Planet of the Apes movie, which just came out recently. And I'm watching Slipstream. I started watching that last night, which I hadn't seen in a long time. It's a really cheesy 80s movie with Bill Paxton and Mark Hamill. It's really poor quality, but it's a cheesy old sci-fi movie that I wanted to watch. So I started watching that last night when the power went out. So I'll have a review of that up soon on the channel too, or on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch tonight, don't forget day-to-day stuff happens on YouTube, so get over there, check out the videos. The review for No Man's Sky just went out while we were live tonight. Check that out. See you guys.